So in today's video, I want to address a question that I get quite often, and it comes from people who are wishing to begin experimenting with paint polishing and paint correction, and they would like to know my opinion on what polisher they should start with. So I thought this was a great question to throw at some of my friends down at the Creator Summit in Chicago last month. So in this video, you'll see Jason Rose and Chelsea from Attention to Details discussing how viable a Rupes polisher is for the first-time purchaser.
So the first thing to consider about a first-time user of a machine polisher for polishing paint is what brand. And we obviously have a biased opinion, but I would encourage you to think about the Rupes brand because it's a company, Italian company, been around since 1947. Innovation is part of the DNA. And one of the things that they're really particular about, as you mentioned earlier, was a vibration-free tool. So many Americans don't know this, but in Europe, vibration is a regulated item. So there's hand tools that are rated at so many hours of use based on the vibration of the tool. And the Rupes tools are full technician can use them for 8 hours every day, no problem. So you as a user, you said you like that feeling that you can't feel a vibration that you can hurt your shoulders and fingers with, right?
Yeah. My biggest issue, I started detailing like 5 or 6 years ago, and I've really gotten more into polishing and ceramic coatings. I find that I'm polishing 3-4 times a week, sometimes for 3, 4, 5 hours a day.
Right.
Over extended periods of time, I've been using, I have a Griot's G15. I have various other devices. They're powerful, they work well. But after several hours of use, my hand is tingling. And I know a lot of detailers who have told me that have been in this business for years, like they've actually had career-ending surgeries, you know, with carpal tunnel or issues because they can't continue to detail. And so for me, like, I know that I'm my best asset. You know, if I can't do this job, then my family is kind of, you know, it's not going to be good. And so I wanted a polisher. I want tools that are going to help me be the best me and help me not have issues in the future. So when I found the Rupes polisher, that eliminated that for me. So I was really impressed with that aspect alone.
Yes, so it's built into the tool itself, and not to get too technical, but on our random orbital polishers, it's actually a 5-gram swing in weight that will throw off the balancing of the tool. So our engineers are very precise. It's a tight tolerance. So the pads and the liquids that are actually part of the system, they're part of the application and how you get that vibration-free experience is because of all the components. There's 4 things that create that result. And if you're new to polishing, you need to understand these 4 things. There's a tool, there's a pad, there's a compound, and there's a person applying all this. And the person, I agree with you, is the most important. So get educated, you know, watch some YouTube videos on how to apply the system. But the other consideration is just use a system. If you just pull XYZ branded tool and ABC pad and 1, 2, 3 compound and throw them together, that might actually be the first time that combination's ever been put together on paint. But we've scienced it out. We've actually spent many years making sure that this design and this liquid and that tool all work together to get that result.
And it's all about the balance. Because we said earlier, as far as if I were to use like a Lake Country or Eurofiber, you know, sometimes I might find that the polisher might stall. If you find that, it could be that the pad is actually creating that stall because it's throwing the polisher off balance.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Well, the dual action polisher, that design of a tool has an intentional rotation stall.
Okay.
So it's actually a safety feature built into random orbitals. The fact that this tool here, see, this is a random part. So these tools are called dual action orbital polishers. The dual action, there's an orbit and a rotation. Now the orbit, you can hear that, the orbit is gear driven and fixed. but this rotation is random.
Yeah.
And when you talk about stall, that's what people refer to, is that this pad can stop and start and speed up and slow down. And that's actually engineered into the tool as a safety feature.
Okay.
Because if we're pushing down on a polisher and we get into a curve or a contour on the car, and let's face it, all the cars don't have a bunch of flat panels. They're all curves and contours. But that stall can actually help you polish in that area without being too aggressive and without damaging paint.
So for those that, if it's their first time polishing, or maybe they're just getting into it, that's always in the back of their mind, their biggest fear.
Oh,
burning the paint.
Scared of damaging my car's paint, right?
That's comforting to know that there's something built into the polisher to actually help kind of take away that chance of happening.
Yes,
now, obviously, it still could happen if you like throw the polisher at the car,
right? Or drop it on.
Yeah.
No. So it's a feature that is actually intentional, and it's desirable because it helps you do safer polishing.
Cool.
So those of you new to polishing and your first time holding a polisher on your beloved car, you might want to consider it's called a dual action random orbital. That's this particular 15 millimeter orbit size, but this is called a Bigfoot polisher because it has a big orbit. And this has that feature built into it. It has that random component on the rotation.
Very cool.
We've got a smaller version of this, which is called a Dueto. It has a 12 millimeter orbit, so slightly smaller orbit, but it is also considered Bigfoot polishing because it's a bigger than an 8 millimeter orbit. But this one has a smaller body style. It's more compact. You can actually one-hand it, like on the roof of a big SUV or down low on the rocker panel. So if you prefer a smaller body style, then we have this option for you. But same features as the larger full-size tool. Now this is a little bit more aggressive, and it does not have a random component. So this is called the 𝗢𝗡 gear-driven orbital. Still dual action, has an orbit and a rotation, but listen to this. So you turn the backing plate, there's no random part at all. The orbit and the rotation are gear-driven and fixed. So if you want a more powerful tool, then that's an option for you. This will actually provide a lot of dual action polishing on more damage, like more scratches, sanding marks if you're on those.
Okay.
This is kind of a step up on aggressiveness.
When it comes to doing paint correction, for those that are just wanting to start out, there's a lot of options for polishes and pads and things like that.
Yeah.
You guys have kind of simplified that process with your products.
Yeah.
But majority of the time, I use the heck out of the Rupes yellow foam pads, and then your yellow polish, and the yellow wool polishing pad. Really, for those that are like, how do I simplify this process? Like, these really are all they need to start out with. Absolutely, and we have a lot of options because the system is designed to handle a broad range of defects and paint hardness and styles or body styles on cars. But to your point, this is all you need. If you bought a polisher that is consistent with how you like, the smaller or bigger style polisher, but then the rest of the system is pick a liquid and a pad. If you just got these 3 items, and we have lots of options in our system, but if you only purchase these 3 items, you are able to do most of the work on your car, your neighbor's car, your friend's car. I mean, this is really capable, as you know, because you use this. So yeah, I do. DA wool pad and the DA foam pad with our DA fine liquid. So it says fine, but don't let that word confuse you, because it goes after defects. It's a cutter, but it's fine in how it finishes. So it's a broad range of cut and finish, and this combination right here will get a lot of your stuff that you want to do on your cars done. Yeah, most daily drivers, I feel like that's where all you really need is a good one step. Yeah.
You can apply that system to these smaller finishing or edging polishers.
These pads here are also cut in these diameters, and these are what we call edge work tools. There's the hybrid Nano and the hybrid Mini. The Mini is a 3-inch platform, so these same pads we just talked about, you can actually get in those pad diameters. Yeah. And then the hybrid Nano is 2-inch diameter and 1 inch. So these are what we call edge work tools. And what is edge work? Well, on your car, there's the big wide open flat spaces like a hood, and that's what the full-size tools are for. But then around the headlight bezels or the you know, the front bumper cover, or in tight areas, or 2 inches around every panel. That's what we consider edge work. And buying an edge work tool can actually help you get those areas done better and faster. So these are 𝗢𝗡𝗙, which is our brand, meaning a tool, one tool that can be used with a battery or a cord. So you can actually take the battery out, put an adapter in, and then you have a corded tool. So this is unique to our brand. On the market, you can have, you know, corded tools with a variety of brands. You can have battery tools, but 𝗢𝗡𝗙 to us means the ability to take that one tool and use it both ways.
I actually forgot that this has the plug-in option.
Yeah.
It's in the case. Oh, wow. Yeah, I gotta try that out.
Well, I like this. Well, this isn't snapped in. Where's the battery dead? Did it die on me?
No, dial, speed dial, there you go.
Oh, that would, look at me.
No. Yeah.
It is smooth though. That is really
It's
smooth.
very powerful, very high torque on this tool, so you can get edge work done really fast.
All right, well, thank you so much,
Yeah, my
Jason.
pleasure.
What a pleasure to speak to the Global Director of Training for a product line that or equipment line that I just really have always been a fan of. So when my viewers ask me if I have any recommendations for a polisher, I say I am a Rupes user. And I want them to learn more about the lineup and the systems, and you did such a wonderful job. And thank you, Chelsea, with your wonderful questions, so that my viewers and anyone watching this video can learn a little bit more about Rupes. Yeah, thanks again.
My pleasure.
Woo! Thank you, guys.
All right.